Um, so unlike my other comrades here, I have to use my note cards, so that's a thing. I was given the opportunity to help change the world on April 20th of this year, where there was a walkout at my school to protest against gun violence after the events of this past Valentine's Day, when 17 innocent people were brutally murdered by some psycho with an AR-15. I remember it like it was yesterday. My teachers had warned myself and many others about the dangers of that day, but I couldn't have cared. I felt my heart rate begin to pick up as I walked toward the designated meeting area for everyone who was taking part that day. I felt excited, knowing that all of us were there to make a difference. I remember feeling determined as my mother's words rang through my head. If trouble breaks out and the police get involved, leave and come home. I don't want you to get arrested. I knew as soon as I left my house that morning that I would have gladly gotten arrested if it meant getting our point across. Sorry, Mom. Sorry, I lost my place. I mean, I was a senior in high school. I didn't want to die at school, of all places, just because some asshole was able to buy an assault rifle. It didn't make sense. As I arrived at the meeting spot, I already saw hundreds of fellow students gathered around and felt the pride begin to well up in my chest. I quickly met up with my sister, who herself is about to go into her senior year, and we continued to add to our already decorated shirts. And we painted orange lines under our eyes like soldiers preparing for war. As the organizers of the walkout made announcements about the day's agenda, we continued to add to our shirts and paint other people's faces as well. Finally, it was announced that it was time to leave, and the chants began. I heard the usual, "Enough is enough," which had always been significant to me, as well as the people who survived the Parkland shooting, because they'd seemed so strong, despite having witnessed such a traumatic event. But I also heard new chants that renewed my inspiration for this movement. Ones like, "Fix this, because I don't want to die," and "Safety is a right, not a privilege." As I heard these moving words echo throughout the streets, I felt my hair begin to stand on end. After a long Max ride, we finally arrived downtown, and the day was warm, and there was a slight breeze. As we poured out of the train in a continuous stream, we gathered at Skidmore Fountain. I watched as different people stepped forward and spoke their minds, and felt proud as my sister did the same. She talked about how she, like myself, was sick of going to school every day in fear of a shooter breaking in and walking right onto the campus. As I watched more and more trains arrive and saw more and more people wearing orange and holding signs, I felt a strange sense of camaraderie of so many people, many of them strangers to one another, standing together to make the changes that are needed. Soon we traveled to Portland City Hall and continued to protest. By then there were thousands of us, all of us there fighting for the same thing: peace. Finally, Ted Wheeler, the current mayor of Portland, walked out and said that he stood with us in our fight. And I don't think I had ever felt more proud to live in Portland, a sanctuary city, in the entire 10 years I lived there. It could have been anyone on Valentine's Day. It could have been me, my sister, my friends. And the thought of that truly terrifies me. Now, I fight for my safety and the safety of others. I fight against injustice. And I fight for Alyssa, Scott, Martin, Nicholas, Aaron, Jamie, Chris, Luke, Cara, Gina, Joaquin, Elena, Meadow, Helena, Alex, Carmen, and Peter. Enough is enough. Now, if I may, a moment of silence for those who have passed. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you.